Yo, what's up guys? So today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was trained by Anko, and got harem with Ino Yamanaka and Anko, part 1. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, go check out the author of this fanfic, NaruinoFTW, link is in the description, and also subscribe to my channel, and like this video. A tall blonde man stood in front of a newly created altar with a young baby boy laying on it. The man is Minato Namikaze, the fourth son of Konoha. In front of Minato was his wife, Kushina Uzumaki. They both were pierced through the chest by one of the great Kyuubi's claws. The boy lying on the altar was their newborn son, Naruto Uzumaki. Are you sure he will be okay with Minato-kun? Asked Kushina. Yes dear, I am only sealing half of the Kyuubi's power within him. The other half will be sealed within me, as we pass to the next life. If there is anything you want to say, do it now, replied Minato. Naruto, how I wish that we could be there to watch you grow, and live. I hope one day you will be able to forgive your father, and me for the burden we are placing on you. I want you to grow, and be a strong man Naruto. Find you a nice girl, and settle down, and give me some grandbabies. I love you, Naruto. Kushina said with pain and sadness in her voice. There's not much more to say about Naruto. I know you can befriend them just like your mother did, and use his power to protect those precious to you. We will always be watching over you Naruto. I love you. Minato said, as he made one final hand sign, and shouted seal. The last half of the nine-tailed fox was then sealed inside the infant. As the fox vanished, the bodies of Minato and Kushina fell to the ground void of any sign of life. A few minutes later, an older ninja dressed in pure black ninja gear arrived to find the two dead bodies and the crying baby. This was Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third. He picked the baby up trying to soothe the screaming infant. He signaled for them to take the two bodies back to Konoha, as he too made his way to the village to inform the council of what happened. Council room. Hiruzen sat at the head of the room dressed once again in robes with Naruto in a cradle next to him. It surprised Hiruzen that the baby could sleep with all the yelling going on between the civilian and shinobi council. We should just have the demon killed now before it attacks us all again, shouted a councilman. Let's finish what the fourth started and be done with it all, shouted another. Are you insane? He is just a helpless infant. You can't seriously consider killing the poor child. He had no control over what happened, shouted Ino Yamanaka. The young pup didn't choose to be the. Would you still feel the same way if it was one of your pups that the fourth decided to seal the demon in? Asked Suminizuka. Once again, the two sides of the council started yelling and cursing back and forth. Hiruzen had finally had enough. He started leaking killing intent into the room as he shouted. Everyone just shut up. This immediately got the desired reaction, as everyone in the room fell silent. Minato wanted this child to be seen as a hero for holding the nine-tailed demon fox, not as the monster sealed within him. No one is going to kill the young boy or harm him in any way. Naruto will be placed in the orphanage until he is able to support himself. No one will speak of this outside of this room. I am making this SS class secret punishable by death. Hiruzen started with a tone that left no room for argument. After he saw that no one else was going to say anything, he dismissed everyone, and they went on their ways. After everyone else had left, Inoichi along with his two friends Shikaku Narachosa Akamichi walked up to Hiruzen. What can I help you with? Asked. When will you tell Naruto of his heritage, Hokage-sama? After all, since Lady Kushina was heiress of Uzumaki, that would mean that he was not only prince of an entire country, but also the last heir to the Uzumaki clan, asked Shikaku. Hiruzen knew that these three and their wives were all friends with Minato and Kushina. So it didn't really surprise him that they asked about his heritage. I will tell him when he is old enough to defend himself. Minato made a lot of enemies out there, and they may still try to get revenge on him by getting to his family. As for Kushina's side of the family, I'm not really sure. We can cross that bridge when we get there. For now we just have to watch over him and keep him safe. The three ninja nodded and left as Hiruzen gathered his things and Naruto took him to the orphanage. He prayed to Kami that Naruto would be safe at the orphanage and no harm would come to the infant. 5 years later. It was a late evening in Konoha. A young girl about 17 years of age was walking home from her favorite dango shop. She had on a mesh bodysuit that went from her neck to her thighs, a dark orange skirt, and a tan overcoat. This was Anko Mitarashi, Takubetsu Jonin. She turned a corner just as something ran into her and fell to the ground. She looked down to see a blonde-haired boy in a white shirt with orange shorts. She knew instantly that the young boy was Naruto. She had seen him before being bullied or chased and always helped when she could. After all, they were very much alike. Both were abused and treated badly throughout different times in their lives. It was for two completely different reasons, but Anko could understand Naruto more than anyone else in the village. She stepped forward to help the young boy up, but he quickly made it to his feet and started running again. She was shocked at first because Naruto never ran from her. A few minutes later, Anko noticed ninja and civilians running in the same direction as Naruto. She grew angry and set out to find Naruto before anyone else did. She looked high and low for Naruto, but was having trouble finding him. She knew he was good at hiding, especially when he could basically disappear from training. By the time she did find him, he was trapped in a dead-end alley with no way of escape. She jumped off the roof and landed in front of Naruto. The sight she saw made her sick. Naruto had deep cuts all over his body, with a few kunais still sticking in him. He had burns from fire on his arms and legs. His eyes were almost swollen shut, and he had bruises from being beaten all over his body. He also had a few broken or dislocated bones. How someone could do something like this was beyond Anko. She turned and faced a crowd of civilians and ninja. "What do you want from a snake whore? Stay out of our way or you're next," shouted someone in the middle of the crowd, which received yells of agreement from the other. Anko smirked as she bit her thumb and made a few hand signs before slamming her palm to the ground. Summoning jutsu. In a puff of smoke, two giant cobras appeared before her. One was black and the other was a dark purple. "What can we help you with, Anko?" asked the black snake in a male voice. "Chaos, I need you and Slytherin to hold this group off for about 10 minutes. I have to get Naruto to the ASAP," replied Anko. "What happened? Is Naruto okay?" asked the purple snake slithering in a female voice. Chaos and Slytherin both cared for the blonde boy. He was always nice to be around, and he seemed to make their master happy when he was around. So both snakes were very protective of the boy, and when they find out that someone hurt either Naruto or Anko, there would be hell to pay. He was attacked by those stupid villagers. I am gonna take him to see Bawako-san and see if I can get her to treat him. Just don't let the villagers follow me, give me about 10 minutes, then head home. I will summon you later and let you know how he is doing," replied Anko. After her snakes gave her a nod in understanding, she picked Naruto up as gently as possible and headed towards the Hokage Tower. She smirked as she heard screams of pain behind her. Hokage Tower. Ears and Sarutobi sat in the office enjoying his peaceful evening. The only thing he wasn't enjoying was the endless amounts of paperwork that seemed to just keep piling up on his desk. Although there wasn't any trouble so far, the Age knew that wouldn't be the case for very long. Nothing ever went peaceful for long periods of time. Just as that thought crossed his mind, he felt a massive amount of color intent flood over the tower. A few seconds later, the door to his office flew off the hinges, as a pissed-off-looking Anko stepped through the doorway. "Anko, what is the meaning of this?" asked Hiruzen. "I need Bawako-san immediately. Naruto has been attacked again," shouted Anko. Hiruzen sighed at this. He had tried to protect Naruto as much as he could. The council, however, had stopped him from helping him any more than getting him a place to stay after the orphanage had kicked him out earlier in the year. He also knew that Anko had a closer bond with the young blonde more than anyone else. He didn't want to deal with the pissed Anko right now. He motioned for an Anbu member to retrieve his wife. A few minutes later, he returned with his wife. "What do you need, dear?" asked Bawako. Before they had a chance to answer, Anko spoke up. "Bawako-san, please help Naruto. Some of the villagers attacked him again." Bawako turned to see Anko covered in blood. Next she saw a small bundle with blonde hair in her arms, bruised, beaten, and cut with blood pouring from the cuts badly. Naruto was like a grandson to the elderly couple, so Bawako quickly took Naruto and laid him on the couch and began healing him the best she could. After about 10 minutes, Bawako sat back in a chair, a little exhausted. "How is he, Bawako-san?" asked a worried Anko. "He will be fine. Luckily he must have been healing his wounds as you made your way here. He just needs some rest, and he will be good as new," replied Bawako. Anko bit her thumb and made a few hand signs and summoned Chaos and Slytherin. As soon as the smoke cleared, the snakes looked over Naruto to make sure he was okay. "He's fine, guys." Bawako-san healed him and said he just needs some rest. "Did the villagers give you any problems?" Anko asked for her summons. "A few of them tried attacking us and chasing after you, but a few bites here and there changed their minds. Don't worry, Hokage-sama, they won't die from the bites. They will just be sick for a few days," said Chaos. "Anko, I can't have you letting your summons attack the villagers, ninja or civilians," said Hiruzen in a displeased tone. "With all due respect, Hokage-sama, I don't give a fuck," shouted Anko. "Calm down, Anko," replied. "No, I won't calm down. Bawako-san and I are the only ones who will leave and help the boy. Bawako-san can only do so much since you let the council control everything. I have stood by long enough. I know what Naruto goes through better than anyone else in this village. I am taking under my wing and will train him to defend himself," replied Anko. "Anko, I can't allow you to do that." You know, Hiruzen was cut off by his wife raising her hand. "Go ahead, Anko-chan. If anyone can help Naruto-kun, it is you. Protect him and train him well. If you need any help, you know where to find me. I can watch over him for you while you are on missions and stuff," Bawako said with a smile as Anko hugged her and picked up Naruto. Anko, Naruto, and the two snake summons walked slithered out of the tower and back towards Anko's small home. After they left, Hiruzen looked to his wife. "Why did you allow her to do that, Bawako-chan?" asked. Because dear, they can help each other more than they know. They both will benefit from this, you'll see. Plus Anko is right, you have grown soft in your old age. You need to take control back from the council. You are the Hokage, you make the decisions, not the council. And, as long as Anko and Naruto need my help, I will be there to help them. The wacko started with a tone of finality, as she headed home. Hiruzen sat in his office for a few more minutes, pondering over what his wife had just told him. She is right. I have grown soft in my old age. I hope you can forgive me, Anko, Naruto, and even you, Minato and Kushina. I promise I will make things right. Hiruzen thought quietly to himself as he made his way home. Anko, her two snake summons, and a still unconscious Naruto arrived back at Anko's place around 9 o'clock. She laid Naruto on the couch and went to make some tea for when the boy decided to finally wake up. It wasn't long after the tea was made that Naruto started to stir. He slowly opened his eyes and took in his surroundings. He expected to wake up lying on the cold, hard ground or in a hospital bed. He then noticed he was lying on someone's couch. It wasn't his couch, he knew that because if it was he would have been able to feel the springs popping through the cushions. So one question came to his mind. Where am I? He thought, as he slowly rose off the couch. Good to see you awake. Naruto was happy to hear that voice. Only one person called him that, and it was one of the very few people he enjoyed being around. Naruto looked towards the sound of the voice, and saw Anko smiling from the kitchen doorway. He quickly made his way to her before giving her a hug. What am I doing here, Anko-chan? Naruto asked, looking up at her. After you were attacked earlier this evening, I took you to the Wako-san, and she healed your wounds. After that I brought you back here to rest. We need to talk to Naruto, but first there are two snakes who want to see you. Anko said. Just then Naruto was wrapped up in what he considers a snake's form of a hug. Slytherin wrapped herself carefully around his body and rubbed her cheek up against Naruto's. Naruto wrapped his arms around the snake's neck and hugged back. Slytherin then unwrapped herself from Naruto as chaos slithered up and Naruto stroked the top of his head. Are you alright, Naruto? Why didn't you use the seals that Anko-san gave you to summon us if you were in trouble? Questioned Slytherin. Anko had made a couple of seals for Naruto after an attack one day. They weren't anything fancy, they just activated when Naruto pumped just a small amount of chakra into the seal, and Chaos or Slytherin would be summoned to aid the young blonde. I am fine, Slytherin, I promise. The reason I didn't use the seals was because one of the ninjas launched a fire at me just as I went to summon you, and the paper it was on got burned up. I'm sorry. Naruto replied with a sad look on his face. You're not to blame, Naruto, those stupid villagers are. That's part of what I want to talk to you about. Anko said, as she and Naruto took a seat on the couch. Seeing she had his attention, she continued. This has allowed me to take you in, Naruto. You don't have to live on the streets anymore, you can have a warm, dry place to stay, and a warm meal every night. That is, if you want to stay here. She asked. So you would be like my mom? Naruto asked. Anko let out a small chuckle. Not quite, Naruto, more like an older sister. I'm too young to have any kids yet, whether they are mine or not. So what do you say? Naruto looked at her with a big smile on his face before tackling her into a huge hug. Of course I'll stay, I always wanted a family. I'm glad you decided to stay with Naruto. I have one more thing I need to tell you. Starting tomorrow I will start your ninja training. I will train you with the 3 Academy, as well as other ninja training. I want you to be able to defend yourself from these annoying villages. Also, with getting a head start on training, you will have an advantage over some of the students in the academy when you start in 3 years. Anko explained, as she took 2 objects out of a seal on her trench coat and handed them to Naruto. One, as a blank piece of white paper, and the other was a scroll. He opened the scroll and began to look over it as Anko spoke again. In that scroll is a type of martial art known as Sanshu, or freehand. It is a type of traditional kung fu, and combines it with a modern combat fighting technique known as kickboxing, which includes close range and rapid successive punches and kicks, with wrestling, takedowns, throws, sweeps, kick catches, and even elbow and knee strikes. She took a moment to let that sink in before she continued. With some training and help, I'm sure that fighting style will suit you after you grow a little bit. Now that white piece of paper is called chakra paper. Pump a little bit of your chakra into it, and I will know what affinity you have, so I can find some ninjutsu to teach you. Anko explained. How do you tell what affinity is? Asked Naruto. Fire, the paper will ignite and turn to ash. Wind, the paper will split in 2. Lightning, the paper will wrinkle. Earth, the paper will turn to dirt and crumble away. Water, the paper will become wet. Anko replied. Naruto did as he was instructed and pushed chakra into the paper as he held it in the palm of his hand. The paper then split into 3 different parts. The first part turned into dust. The second piece of paper became wet, and water mixed with the dust, creating a very small tree from the combined elements. Finally, the last piece of paper burst into flames and turned to ash. Both Naruto and Anko sat quietly for a few minutes, completely shocked, but for completely different reasons. Naruto was shocked because, if he had looked at the paper right, he had 5 affinities. That had to be more than almost anyone else. Anko was shocked to see that he had an affinity for. Other than the first, only one other person had the wood style, and that was only because of a certain snake team. Anko, what does that mean? Naruto asked. I'm not sure about Naruto, but I think we need to see the Hokage first thing in the morning. It's getting late, let's get some sleep, and we will see if they know it's coming in the morning. There is a spare bedroom down the hall you can sleep in. Anko replied. She didn't want to lie to Naruto about his affinities, but she needed to make sure that what she saw had been true. Naruto nodded, and made his way to his new room, and stopped at the door, and looked back at Anko. Good night, Anko-ni. Good night. Anko replied with a smile, and headed for her own bed. Pretty sure that is the right translation for little brother. Next morning, Naruto woke up after finally getting a good night's sleep for the first time in a long time. He was also able to have a good breakfast without having to steal the food or eat rotten food. Naruto and Anko were now on their way to speak to the of Naruto's elemental affinities from last night. They made it to the tower, and after a few glares and harsh words between Anko and the Hokage's secretary, they went in to see them. Good morning. What brought you two here this early? Asked Hiruzen with a smile. Hokage-sama, I believe there is something you should see with Naruto-kun. Anko replied. And what would that be, Anko? Anko took out a piece of chakra paper and handed it to Naruto. Do the same thing you did last night. Naruto nodded and stepped forward so they could have a better view. Once again he pushed his chakra into the paper and got the same results as last time. He looked up to see the same shocked face that Anko had last night. Naruto was a little concerned now. Why did both Anko and the old man look at him like that? Is something wrong with me or my affinities, because you both have looked at me like that? Naruto asked with worry evident in his voice. No Naruto, no need to worry. Everything is fine. It's just that you have an affinity only a couple of people had. You have an affinity known as, or would release. Hiruzen told the young blonde. You mean the same thing that the first had? Yep, just like the first Naruto. Anko said. That is so cool. Now I'll be an even cooler shinobi. Naruto shouted as he jumped around the room in happiness. Anko let out a small chuckle at Naruto's antics. Calm down. Go wait for me in the hallway. I need to speak with Hokage-sama, and then we will go start your training. After Naruto left, Anko turned back to the. How is it possible for him to have this? The only reason I can think of is the fact that he is an Uzumaki. The Senju and Uzumaki clans are distant blood relatives. I never heard of an Uzumaki having this, but apparently it is indeed possible. I will send Yamato with you, and Naruto to help with his training when Yamato isn't on a mission. Replied Hiruzen. When are you going to tell him of his family Hokage-sama? He has a right to know since he is heir to his clan, and prince to a country. I will tell him when he is older, and able to defend himself from his enemies. Minato made a lot of enemies when he was alive, and I don't know if they would come after his son in order to get some kind of revenge. Hiruzen replied. If you don't Hokage-sama, I will. Anko said, as she sent a hard glare to the aged cage before heading for the door. You know you can't do that, Anko, it is an SS class secret. Anko stopped at the door, and looked back. I can, and I will. He has a right to know of his heritage. And with that said, Anko left to start Naruto's training. Naruto and Anko made their way to a training ground just outside of Konoha. Naruto had been bouncing up and down, going on about how he couldn't wait to learn super cool jutsus, and how cool of a shinobi he would be with his Milkujin. He was actually starting to get on Anko's nerves, which you would learn later on was definitely not a good thing. So Anko-ni, what am I going to learn first? Cool fighting moves are super powerful. Naruto asked with barely controlled excitement. Anko walked up to him and bopped him over the head. Enough of that. While we are training you will address me as Anko-sensei. We will be working on chakra control exercises, and then the 3 academies. Until you master those, you will not be learning anything new. Understand? I'll come one Anko-ni. Naruto whined out. Anko delivered another hit to the back of his head. I said, do you understand? Hi sensei. Naruto quickly said. It was late evening when Naruto and Anko walked through the door to their home. While Anko walked, Naruto was exhausted from all the chakra control exercises and the 3 academy, so he just stumbled through the door and made his way to bed. He wanted to complain about not learning anything cool to help him become a better ninja, but he decided against it since he didn't want to see Anko mad at him. If she pushes me like this now, and we are only starting our training, I think I'm gonna hate to see what she's like later on. Can I really handle 3 years of this? Naruto thought as he let sleep take him. A year and a half later. It had been about a year and a half since Naruto started his training under Anko and Yamato. The first couple months had been a bit of pain for the trio. It had taken Naruto a few months to get the chakra exercises mastered, with him having the most trouble mastering the water walking exercise. When he started learning the henge, Kawarimi, and the clone, he mastered the first 2 within a month, but had trouble with the clone. After talking with Anko, she and Yamato decided to teach him the Shadow Clone and Wood Clone. After a few times of using the Shadow Clones, Naruto learned that the Shadow Clone's memories were transferred back to him. He knew that would come in helpful on missions and learning new techniques. Now we find Naruto walking home from Ichiraku Ramen, his #1 place to eat what he considers the food of the gods. Anko had decided to give him a day off, since he had come quite a ways since starting his training. While he was walking past the park, he heard some yelling and crying. He decided to go and see what was going on and help if he could. After a couple of minutes of quickly searching for the source of the noise, he found 3 boys, who seemed to be about 11 or 12, bullying a young blonde girl. One thing Naruto didn't like was bullies, he simply couldn't stand them. Naruto decided to intervene before the boys did anything else. "Hey, why don't you guys try picking on someone your own size, and leave the girl alone?" Naruto shouted out behind the boys. "Why don't you just go ahead and go home before you get hurt too?" said the boy Naruto assumed to be the leader of the group. "How about you leave the girl alone, and I wouldn't have to kick your sorry asses?" Naruto retorted. "That's it, get him boys," the leader shouted, and one of the boys ran at Naruto. Naruto shifted into his fighting stance, and waited for the boy to reach him. The boy threw a right jab at Naruto's face, and Naruto knocked his hand to the side, causing the boy to lose his balance. As the boy went stumbling forward, Naruto stuck his foot out, and gave the boy a light push on the back, causing him to land face first in the dirt. One of the other boys helped his friend up, then they both faced Naruto with a smirk on their faces. "Let's see how well you do 2 against 1. Who said it was 2 against 1? Naruto asked, as he crossed his fingers, and a clone popped into existence. The boys just smirked thinking it was a simple clone. The boys rushed Naruto ignoring the clone, as they believe it is just a normal clone. One of the boys sends a kick to Naruto's side, as the other boy throws a punch at his face. The clone catches the kick between his arm and side, leaving the boy standing wide-eyed and on one leg. The clone pushes forward on the boy's chest with his palm, as he kicks his foot out from underneath him, causing him to land on the ground hard on his back. The real Naruto steps slightly to the left, as the boy's punch goes flying over his shoulder. He then spins in place, as he grabs the boy's arm, and flips him over his shoulder, slamming him down on top of his grounded friend. Naruto then turned his attention to the final member of the group. "So, do you want to take your friends, and get out of here, or do you want an ass kicking too?" Naruto asked to get back into his fighting stance. The boy and his friends started to run off, as the leader of the group shouted over his shoulder. "This isn't over yet." After the boys left, Naruto made his way over the young blonde girl. As she saw Naruto approach, she closed her eyes expecting Naruto to be just another bully. Naruto kneeled down in front of her before speaking. "Are you alright? You're not hurt, are you?" Naruto was concerned for her safety. Seeing that Naruto wouldn't hurt her, she shot forward and gave Naruto a hug. "Thanks for saving me. I thought those boys were gonna hurt me. I'm fine though thanks to you." "I'm Naruto Uzumaki. What's your name?" Naruto asked. "I'm Ino Yamanaka," Ino replied. "Well, it was nice meeting you, Ino. I'll see you around," Naruto said, as he started to walk off. "Wait, Naruto. Would you walk me home? I don't know if those boys will follow me or not," Ino asked with a bit of worry. Naruto didn't want her to get hurt, so he decided he would walk her home. Along the way they talked and got to know each other a little more. Ino couldn't help but giggle at Naruto and the way he acted about his food of the gods ramen and his dream of being. After about 30 minutes of walking, they arrived at Ino's home. Ino's mom had been watching for Ino out the window and opened the door as soon as she saw her daughter. "Ino, where have you been?" asked Nariko. "I'm sorry, mommy. I was being bullied at the park and couldn't get away. But then my new friend Naruto came and protected me from them," Ino replied as she pointed to Naruto. "Thank you for protecting my little girl Naruto. Would you like to come in?" Nariko asked. "Thank you for the offer, Yamanaka-san, but I must decline. I need to get home before Anko ni comes searching for me," Naruto replied while bowing. Ino turned to Naruto and gave him another hug. "Come visit sometime, and we can go play at the park or something, okay? I'll come by whenever I have some free time. See you later, Ino." Naruto then turned and headed back toward home. Naruto sat in Iruka's classroom next to the brooding Uchiha. He was waiting for Iruka to come in and start class. It had been 2 years since Naruto started the academy. In those 2 years he made a few new friends. There were 3 boys in the same class as Naruto, and he got along with them very well. These boys were Shikamaru Nar, Choji Akamichi, and Kiba Inuzuka. From the beginning of the academy, he still had Ino as his very first friend. They had spent time together after he protected her from the bullies, and were happy to learn they would be in the same class. The first few months of his first year, Naruto developed a crush on one of the civilian girls named Sakura Haruno. When Anko found out about his crush, she did 2 things. 1, she set him down and explained why he shouldn't be crushing over Sakura, and explained that she only had eyes for her precious Sasuke-kun. Second, she made sure that Naruto would think carefully over the next girl that he decided to have a crush on and make sure she would return his feelings. Naruto was lost in thought and didn't notice the stop in front of him till she spoke. "Move it, Baka. I want to sit next to Sasuke-kun so I get lost," said Sakura. "Like I give a rat's ass what you want. I'm sitting here so go find somewhere else to sit," Naruto replied without even looking up at her. This made Sakura mad. She cocked back her fist and then tried to punch Naruto. There was a puff of smoke. Once the smoke cleared, Sasuke was sitting in Naruto's place. Naruto had used the Kurama and switched places with Sasuke, and the last Uchiha had taken the punch to the face. When Sakura realized what happened, she moved towards Naruto, but he disappeared in a blur. She then felt something sharp and metal touched her skin. "Listen here, Haruno, I'm sick of your attitude and thinking you need to be stuck up the Uchiha's ass all the time. Try to touch me again, and it will be the last thing you ever touch," Naruto growled out in a serious tone. After he said what he needed to, he walked off and sat next to Ino. They started talking and laughing like nothing ever happened. Naruto had fallen asleep about halfway through the class. The only reason he was awake now was for the class's sparring session they had daily. Naruto was currently sitting leaned up against the fence in a sparring match. Ino was sitting next to him with her head on his shoulder. "Did you think we'll spar against Naruto?" Ino asked, watching as the next match started. "It doesn't really matter to me. I just wish Anko-ni would allow me to use a little more strength with the fighting style. The only way I don't have to hold back is if I face one of the kids from a clan, since they have more training than civilian kids," Naruto explained. "Not all clan kids have a fighting style. Like the Yamanaka, we don't really have a certain fighting style. I wouldn't mind finding one that suits me though," Ino said. Naruto thought about it for a moment, then an idea hit him. "What about the snake style, Ino? I have seen the way you watch Ni-chan when she is practicing her jujutsu. I think it would be a good style for you." "I'll think about it," Ino replied. Internally she was happy. Happy that Naruto had suggested the idea. Ino enjoyed spending time with Naruto. Anko was always nice to Ino, and if training with the snake mistress of Konoha got her more time around Naruto, she wasn't going to complain. Just then, Iruka called the names of the next sparring match. Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. Ino looked up at Naruto and asked a question. "Are you going to use it?" "No, I'm not ready for anyone other than you, Ni-chan, and Old Man Cage to know that I have them just yet," replied Naruto as he walked to the training area. Iruka told them to begin, and Naruto just stood there while Sasuke rushed in. Sasuke threw a punch at Naruto which the Naruto side stepped on. Sasuke then spun on his foot and landed a kick in Naruto's side, which sent him sliding a few feet back. Sasuke jumped in the air and brought his foot down, hoping to knock Naruto out. Naruto crossed his arms over his head and flipped Sasuke off of him when Sasuke landed. As soon as Sasuke landed on the ground, Naruto was in front of him with an elbow that drove deep into his gut. This caused Sasuke to double over in pain and gasp for breath for a few moments. Naruto took this chance and rushed in. He moved in front of Sasuke as he flipped over to stand on his hands. As he pushed up, he connected his foot with Sasuke's shin, sending him into the air. Naruto followed the Uchiha into the air and delivered an axe kick to Sasuke's head, sending him back to the ground. Sasuke managed to get up and ran toward Naruto. Sasuke sent a kick to Naruto's side only for the blind to grab his foot between his arm and side. Naruto raised his free elbow and brought it down hard on Sasuke's leg just above his knee. A small yelp of pain was heard from the Uchiha as Naruto let him go. Sasuke moved towards Naruto once more, a bit slower this time. He tried to punch Naruto, but Naruto sidestepped the punch and placed his hand on Sasuke's chest. Naruto then kicked Sasuke's good leg out from under him, and Sasuke landed on his back folded in half. Iruka called the match, and after the fangirls quit screeching about how Naruto cheated, the class went back inside. Naruto couldn't wait for the next 2 years to be done and over with. The sooner he got away from the fangirls, the happier he would be. Day before graduation. Naruto, Ino, and Anko were on their way to see them. After the news that the two kids had told Anko, she told them they needed to inform them immediately. Walking in the building and up the stairs to the Hokage's office, Naruto knocked on the door and waited till he heard enter before walking inside. Hiruzen looked up to see the trio in front of him. "What can I help you three with today?" asked Hiruzen. The trio walked to the front of the desk and stood at attention. Naruto was the first to speak. "Hokage-sama, we have some information you may want to hear." A serious look spread over Hiruzen's face. Naruto never addressed him by his title, unless it was an important matter. "I'm listening." Mizuki-sensei has been tampering with Naruto's tests and paperwork for the last few months. His grades have been getting worse for a while, and now it's to the point where he would be considered the dead last of this year's group, and we all know that isn't true, stated Ino. "How do you know that it was Mizuki?" asked the Cage. "There are only two people who handle the paperwork, and that's Iruka and Mizuki. Do you honestly think Iruka would do that to Naruto?" Anko asked with a sarcastic tone. Hiruzen thought about that for a few moments and decided Anko was right. Alright, I will deal with it immediately. Actually Hokage-sama, we have a plan to deal with Mizuki team. With your permission of course, Naruto said. And what would that be? Asked Hiruzen. We want Iruka-sensei to fail Naruto tomorrow during the graduation exams. Ino said with a slight chuckle from the look on the cage's face. Why would you want that to be done? Hiruzen replied with a shocked expression. Because if Iruka fails him tomorrow, then Mizuki will have a reason to seek out Naruto for whatever he has planned. Even if he doesn't use Naruto for anything, you can just tell Iruka this was your plan, and that Naruto should pass. Besides, he will have his girlfriend with him at the academy tomorrow, and I will keep an eye on him from the shadows. Anko said, as she laughed at the blushes on the blondes' faces. Hiruzen wasn't sure if he should allow this to be done or not. Sure, Anko was special, and Naruto and Ino both had been trained by her to some extent. He finally decided to allow them to go forth with their plan. He wrote a small note and summoned him to take it to Iruka and dismissed the three. Day of the exams. Naruto and Ino sat in class waiting for the exams to start. Iruka had pulled them to the side that morning, making sure this wasn't some type of prank. While Iruka and Mizuki were watching the exams, the rest of the students sat in the class talking, laughing, or in a certain Naru's case, sleeping. Then there were the fangirls, all trying to be closer to the brooding Uchiha. Sakura walked back into class from finishing her exam, and decided to make a scene. She wanted the seat beside Sasuke, which just happened to be occupied by Naruto. Move it, Baka, that's my seat. Naruto stood up before looking all over the chair, and sat back down. I didn't see your name anywhere, so I'm assuming it isn't yours, replied Naruto, causing Ino, who was sitting next to him, to laugh. Why are you even here? It isn't like you're gonna pass or anything. Sakura screeched out. I'm sorry, did you say something or no? Never mind, I don't care if you did or not, I have bigger things to worry about, Naruto said, as he stood and turned to move. Sakura was pissed off, and swung her fist at Naruto. She was surprised when Ino caught her fist in the palm of her hand. Ino then pulled Sakura towards her, and folded her arm up behind her back, eliciting a yelp of pain from the. You better keep your hands to yourself or no. Ino growled out, as she and Naruto went to sit in the corner of the classroom. A few minutes later, Naruto was called to start his exam. He walked in, and stood in front of Iruka and Mizuki. He was told which to perform, and that he would be graded on the results. Naruto went through the exam, and at the end Iruka told him that he failed. Naruto's face became saddened, as Mizuki smirked at this. Iruka then left to get the next student. Listen Naruto, I'm sorry you didn't pass. If you want though, I can give you extra credit if you do something for me, kinda like a makeup test, Mizuki said. A smile grew on his face, as a thought went through his mind. Gotcha team. Naruto then looked up at Mizuki. Anything that will let me pass to be a ninja. There's a large scroll hidden in the Hokage's office. If you can bring it to me at this location tonight, I will tell you that you passed, Mizuki said, as he handed Naruto a slip of paper. Naruto nodded and ran out of the room. He walked back into the classroom and told Iruka he was leaving. He slipped into the piece of paper before darting out of the classroom, headed for the Hokage tower. Naruto jumped in through the window, but he was nowhere to be found. He left a note for the cage saying what he was doing before he grabbed the scroll and ran off. Naruto made his way to the location he was supposed to meet Mizuki. He was a little early and was bored out of his mind. Letting curiosity overrun his better judgment, he decided to look through the scroll. He opened the scroll and began to look over its contents. He came upon a scroll that was sealed inside this one that read the Uzumaki family summoning contract. He was curious as to what it was, so he unsealed it. Before he could look it over, he sensed another presence coming closer. A few seconds later, Mizuki landed in front of Naruto. Well done Naruto. Give me the scroll. Answer one question first. What do you need with the scroll of the SEAL team? Naruto asked. Not that it's any of your business, but Orochimaru-sama needs the scroll for something he's working on. So give me the scroll so I can be on my way, and you can go play ninja somewhere else, Mizuki replied. And what if I decide not to give you the scroll, and tell Hokage-sama about all this? Naruto asked. Give me the scroll, and I will tell you why everyone in the village hates you, Mizuki stated. Just then Anko jumped from her hiding spot. Hidden shadow snakes, she shouted, as snakes flew from her sleeve towards Mizuki. Mizuki took the large shuriken off his back, and slashed the snakes apart. Don't even think about saying anything about Mizuki, Anko seethed. Don't you think he has the right to know? Mizuki asked. While Mizuki was distracted, Ino was sneaking up behind him. When she got close enough, she jumped in the air, and landed a spinning kick to the back of his head. Mizuki stumbled forward, and was met with a vicious right hook from Anko. All of a sudden, he was wrapped in branches, and unable to move. How do you have them? Mizuki asked. I'm Uzumaki, a distant blood relative of the Senju. Now you pay for betraying the leaf, Naruto said with a smirk. And what can you possibly do? Asked Mizuki. Shadow clone. Naruto said, as the entire area they were in was filled with clones. You two may want to step back. Why? Asked Ino. After Naruto and the two females moved back away, Naruto made a single hand sign. Clone grade explosion. Naruto said, as the forest began to shake from the explosion. Anko and Ino both looked at him with a confused expression. Jiji taught me. Causes the shadow clones to explode. Don't worry, I held the clones back enough so they wouldn't kill him. Naruto said, as he headed back to the cage tower. Naruto, Anko, and Ino walked into Hiruzen's office, and Naruto returned the scroll. After Hiruzen sent some to get Mizuki, Naruto decided to ask a question. Hokage-sama, I need some answers. Mizuki was going to tell me why everyone hates me, but Anko stopped him. I also found this, and was wondering if I come from a clan or something. Naruto said, as he placed the scroll on the table. Hiruzen sighed, as he knew there was no way of getting out of this. Ino, could you please excuse me? Hiruzen asked. She can say. She can either hear it now or I will just tell her later. Naruto said. Very well. Naruto, you come from a clan known as the Uzumaki clan. They were masters in, and were feared for that very fact. They were from a village called Uzashigakure in the land of whirlpools. During the last war, most of the villagers were eliminated. One of the survivors was your mother, Lady Kushina Uzumaki, princess of Uzashigakure. Your father was Minato Namikaze, the fourth son of Konoha. Your mother was, basically, a prison of the nine-tailed demon fox. When she gave birth to you, a masked man attacked and ripped the demon fox from your mother. Your father fought with the masked man and beat him enough to make the man make his escape. The only way for your father to beat the fox was to seal it once again. He decided to seal it inside of you, since it wouldn't ask someone else to do what he wouldn't. He used the Reaper Death Seal, and with your mother's last breaths, sealed away the scroll is something we found in the Uzumaki compound, and sealed away. Your parents wanted you to be seen as a hero, not as the demon you hold. They both loved you very much, Naruto. Hiruzen explained. So I'm heir to a clan, and a prince to a country. Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner? Questioned Naruto. We wanted you to be able to protect yourself first. We had no idea if anyone would try to kill you because of your father. He made a lot of enemies during his time. Hiruzen said. I want what is rightfully mine, Hokage-sama. The compound, the scroll, everything. Replied Naruto. You will get everything that is left that belongs to you, Naruto. You are taking this quite well. Anko said. Sure, they're my parents, and I'm happy that I had a family that loved me, but they screwed my life over pretty badly. Anko is my family now, and that's what matters. I'm heading home, and have to get ready for team placements tomorrow. Naruto replied, as he left the office. You can't tell anyone else about this, Ino, understand? Asked Hiruzen. Of course, Hokage-sama. Ino bowed, and left the room headed home. Hated for something he had no control over. How stupid are these villagers? Plus, he's a prince to a country, wonder if I could be his princess. Ino wondered, as she walked down the street. Next day. Naruto and Ino were two of the first ones in the classroom that morning. The only other two were Shino and Shikamaru. As more and more people filed into the room, Naruto kept receiving more and more stares. It was Kiba who decided to question his presence. What are you doing here, Naruto? This is only for the ones who passed. Kiba said. I did pass. Iruka only failed me because he asked him to. Don't ask because I can't tell you anything about it. Don't believe me, just ask Iruka. Naruto replied. After Iruka came in and explained that Naruto did in fact pass, he began going over the list of teams. Team 7, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Choji Akamichi. Sensei Kakashi Haddock. Team 8, Shikamaru Nara, Hinata Hyuga, and Shino Aburum. Sensei Kurama Yuhi. Team 9 is still in rotation from last year. Team 10, Naruto Uzumaki, Ino Yamanaka, and Kiba Inizuka. Sensei Asuma Sarutobi. Everyone will be back here in 3 hours to meet your sensei. Iruka said before leaving the classroom. Naruto, Ino, Akamaru, and Kiba sat in the back of the classroom waiting for their sensei. They had used the 3 hours to get to know one another a little better, and were just waiting for their sensei to come get them. As they waited for their sensei, a few of the other teams were picked up by their sensei, until there was only Team 7, 8, and 10 remaining in the classroom. A few minutes later, two people walked in. One was a tall, slender woman with black hair. Her eyes were a deep crimson color, and she had purple eyeshadow and red lipstick. She had a red mesh armor blouse with only her right arm being covered by a sleeve. She had some type of fabric material over top of her shirt that reached from her shoulders down to about mid-thigh, and had a rose thorn-like pattern on it. Her hands and upper thighs were covered in bandages. The second person was a tall, black-haired man with a beard and a cigarette in his mouth. He wore the standard ninja outfit with his sleeves rolled up and a flak jacket over top of his shirt. The only difference was the sash he wore around his waist with the kanji for fire on the front of it. The woman was the first to speak up. I'm Kurama Yuhi, Team 8 follows me. I'm Asuma Sarutobi. Team 10, meet me at Training Ground 10 in 15 minutes. Asuma stated before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. Team 10 made their way out of the academy and ran off toward training ground 10. A few minutes later, they arrived at the training ground and found their sensei sitting under a tree smoking. They walked over to Asuma and joined him in the shade of the tree. "What are we going to do first?" asked Ino. "First we are going to tell the others a little bit about us. Our hobbies and dreams, likes and dislikes, stuff like that. I'll go first. I'm Asuma Sarutobi, son of the 3rd Hokage and next head of the Sarutobi clan. I like smoking and a certain special woman. There isn't much that I dislike, the biggest would be those who mistreat others. My dream is to one day retire and settle down with a family." Asuma explained, taking another puff of his cigarette before motioning towards Kiba. "I'm Kiba Inizuka, and this is Akamaru. I am the next head of the clan after my big sister Hana. I like helping my mom with them and playing with Akamaru. I don't like those who hurt others or animals. My dream is to take over as head of the Inizuka clan," Kiba said, with Akamaru adding in a few barks in agreement before Asuma gestured towards Ino. "I'm Ino Yamanaka, an heiress to the Yamanaka clan. I like working with various plants and flowers and helping my parents in the flower shop. I also like spending time with Naruto-kun and the rest of my friends. The thing I dislike the most are people who think they are better than everyone else. My dream is to have a family and take over the flower shop after my parents." Ino replied with a small blush as she looked over at Naruto with the idea of having a family with him. "Some of the things I am about to say are SS class secrets and cannot be repeated outside this group," Naruto said with a serious tone. "Naruto, you can't say anything about that secret, that is why it is SS class in the first place," Asuma stated with his full attention on Naruto. "I have already talked to Hokage-sama about it. If we are going to be a team sensei, then there needs to be no secrets between us," Naruto replied, getting a nod from Asuma in response. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki, heir to the Uzumaki clan, and prince of Uzashigakure in the land of whirlpools. I'm one of the 9-tailed demon foxes. I also have the Mokuden Kekkei Genkai. My father was the Yondaime, and my mother was Kushina Uzumaki, princess of Uzashigakure. I like ramen, Ino-chan, Anko-ni, and my other friends. I don't like the 3 minutes it takes for ramen to cook, a certain snake team. My dream is to one day take over the village, and the family I hope to one day have." Asuma and Kiba both were shocked. Asuma knew of the and Naruto's heritage, but he didn't know Naruto was a prince or had the same of the Shadaime. Kiba was shocked by all the information. Everything was starting to make sense now. Why the villagers hated him, and why no one ever wanted to be around the blonde. "Now that you know this, what do you think of me now?" Naruto asked, looking towards Kiba. "I don't see you any differently, Naruto. You're still the same blonde goofball that I've been friends with since the beginning of the academy. Only thing hard to believe is that you're royalty," Kiba said with a chuckle. "Well, now that all that is out of the way, you all need to report back here tomorrow for your final test to see if you become genin or not," Asuma said, shocking the 3 kids. "What do you mean final test? Isn't that what the graduation exams were for?" asked Kiba. "That was to see if you had the potential to become a ninja. Only 33% of academy graduates actually go on to become genin. Your final test will be given to you tomorrow morning. Meet me back here at 9 o'clock," Asuma explained before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. "What do you think the test will be?" Ino asked, turning to look at Kiba and Naruto. "Hard to tell, could be anything from fighting sensei to him setting up some type of training mission. Won't know till we get here tomorrow," Naruto replied as he turned to walk off. "Where are you going, Naruto?" Kiba asked. "There's something I want to try, and I figured I might as well do it while I have the time," replied Naruto with a shrug of his shoulders. "Well, I'm headed home, see you 2 in the morning," Kiba said with Akamaru barking his goodbye. "Care if I tag along with Naruto?" Ino asked, hoping he said yes. "I don't mind, actually you might be able to help me with this," Naruto replied as Ino caught up with him. "Really? What do you need my help with?" Ino asked, now curious to what her fellow blonde was planning. "I want to enter my mind. I have never tried anything like that before, and with you coming from a clan of mind walkers, I thought you might be able to help me," Naruto explained. "I should be able to help, but can I ask why you want to enter your mind all of a sudden?" replied Ino. "I want to see if I can communicate with the demon fox. I want to try and find out why the fox decided to attack Konoha like it did," Naruto replied, shocking Ino even more. "You can't be serious, Naruto. You actually want to try and talk with the strongest around, just to chat?" Ino basically screamed at her blonde friend. "Yeah, that's about it. So you wanna help?" Naruto asked with a shrug of his shoulders. "I don't know why, but yeah, I'll help. I should probably be more afraid of your mind than the demon fox though." Ino started with a laugh as she ran off towards Naruto and Anko's place. "Thanks Ino." Naruto started to say it before he realized what Ino had said. "Hey, what the hell is that supposed to mean? My mind ain't that bad," Naruto yelled out as he chased after his friend. A few minutes later, the 2 preteens were sitting on Anko's living room floor. Anko was currently out on a mission, so they weren't worried about anyone else distracting them. So how does this work, Ino-chan? First, I'll go into your mindscape. After that you will start to feel a small pull from the inside of your body. Don't fight it, and just allow me to pull you into your mindscape. From there we just have to find where the fox is, and you should be able to speak to him, explained Ino. After receiving the go-ahead from Naruto, Ino ran through a few hand signs before placing her hands on Naruto's temples. Mind walk jutsu. At first, Naruto wasn't sure if it had worked or not. But after a minute or two, he felt the pull that Ino was talking about. Naruto closed his eyes and allowed himself to be pulled into his mindscape. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto opened his eyes to find himself in a hallway with pipes running along the walls and ceiling. There was also about 2 inches of water on the floor. No offense, Naruto-kun, but your mind is seriously a dump. Naruto turned to find Ino looking around the hallway they were in. I can't help it, it's the first time I've ever been here. Come on, we need to find that fox, Naruto said, as the duo took off down the hall. After about 10 minutes of walking, they came to a large room with a giant gate that reached from the ceiling to the floor with a paper tag with the kanji for seal on it. Well, I'm guessing this is most likely the place you're looking for, Naruto-kun, Ino said, looking around the room. As the duo moved closer to the gate, 2 large crimson eyes appeared in the darkness behind the bars of the gate. A few seconds later, a large red-orange furred fox stepped out of the darkness and sat down in front of the gate with its 9 tails flowing around it. The 2 kids looked up at the fox with fear, Ino being a little more afraid to move slightly behind Naruto. There's no reason to be afraid. I can't attack you even if I wanted to because of this seal. Why are you here, young? Asked the fox in a deep voice. I just wish to talk to Kyuubi-san. I would like to get some answers about a few questions I have, Naruto said, as he sat down in front of the gate. I will answer each question to the best of my ability. And the name's Kurama, not Kyuubi-san, replied the fox. Why did you attack the village 12 years ago? I wasn't in control of myself at the time of the attack. The seal is weakest during childbirth. During the time of your birth, a masked man with the Sharingan ripped me out of your mother and placed me under his control. Your father fought with the masked man, but by the time he beat the man, the damage had been done. Your parents used what little bit of strength they had left and gave their lives to reseal me into you. I promised your mother I would look after you and get revenge on the masked man, however the seal that your father used put me to sleep for the last 12 years. The only help I could offer was healing your wounds, explained the. He said this man had the Sharingan which would make him an Uchiha. The Uchiha clan were wiped out a few years ago by one of their clan members, so this masked man may already be dead. Ino started from her seat next to Naruto. I don't think so. The man that ripped me from Kushina didn't smell like he was from Konoha. People from each of the 5 major villages have a distinct smell to them from their village. This man didn't smell like any of the villages. He is still out there somewhere, Kurama said, as he laid his on his paws. Will you help me to get stronger, Kurama? Naruto asked. Why do you wish to become a stronger kid? Kurama asked curiously. If there are people like this masked man out in the world, I want to be able to protect those that are precious to me. Since we are going to be stuck together for the foreseeable future, I won't demand that you help me, I just ask that you will help. I don't want it to be a constant game of tug-of-war between the 2 of us, Naruto stated in a serious tone. This answer seemed to please the great, as he raised his head and nodded. Very well, I will help you. It will not be easy, and there will be a lot to learn. One thing you must know is that rage is a Bijuu's strongest emotion, which makes it a stronger emotion for them, as well. Until you fully master the powers of the rage can overrun you at any time, stated, as one of his tails reached through the bars and touched Naruto's forehead. What was that for? Asked a confused Ino. That will allow Naruto and I to communicate telepathically. Either one of us can cut the connection at any time, so we will still have our privacy. It also gives Naruto heightened senses to that of a kitsune like greater smelling and hearing. Now it's time for you to go, it's getting late, and you 2 have your test tomorrow, and need rest, explained Kurama, as he started to push them out of the mindscape. Thank you, Kurama, Naruto said with a bow, as he and Ino vanished. Could he be the one you talked about, father? Thought Kurama, as the 2 kids vanished. Real world. When Naruto and Ino opened their eyes, they found it was already dark out. Would you like me to walk you home or do you just want to stay the night? Asked Naruto. Mom and Dad both are out on missions, so if you don't mind I will spend the night here, replied Ino. I don't mind, you can have my bed tonight, and I'll sleep on the couch, Naruto said, as he stretched out on the couch. Ino stood and started her way down the hall. Good night, Naruto-kun. Good night, Ino-chan. Next morning, Team 10 stood in the middle of Training Ground 10 waiting for their sensei to give them their test. They were a little annoyed that they still had another test to take, but all 3 were ready to do whatever it took to become genin. They had only been waiting for about 10 minutes when Asuma appeared a few feet away from them in a swirl of leaves. So sensei, what's our test? Also, where is the real sensei? You have a cigarette, but I can't smell any of the smoke or anything, meaning you must be a clone or something. Asked Kiba. The real me is around here somewhere. As for your test, you have till noon to find me. I have a scroll on my person that you must retrieve. To that, and you pass, you need to come at me with the intent to kill, as I will do the same with you. Your time starts now. Asuma said before poofing away. So how do you two want to go about this? Ino asked, turning to her teammates. Asuma-sensei is so the only way we are going to even have a shot at passing, is with teamwork. First we need to find him though, let's go. Naruto replied, as the trio jumped off into the forest. Asuma had been hiding in the forest for about 15 minutes since his clone dispersed itself. He was sitting close to the top of a tree waiting for any sign of his team. Just then he felt 3 chakra signatures coming his way. A few seconds later, he saw his team pass right underneath him. He watched them jump from tree to tree, never even noticing him. He started to follow, but had to jump away to avoid the kunai embedded itself where he had been moments before. Looking in the direction the kunai came from, he saw the trio standing in a nearby tree. So I'm guessing the other 3 were shadow clones then? Asuma asked, receiving a nod from Naruto. Asuma pulled out a set of trench knives, and got into his taijutsu stance. Well, no sense in trying to hide anymore. Let's see what you 3 got. Kiba was the first one to move, as he jumped straight for Asuma. He went for a right hook to Asuma's cheek, but Asuma easily sidestepped the punch. Kiba then spun low, and tried to take out his sensei's legs. Asuma jumped up, and away from Kiba, and landed on a nearby tree branch. He then had to dodge a kick to his head from Naruto. Naruto landed, and shoved off the tree at Asuma, intending to plant his knee in Asuma's gut. The knee connected, and there was a poof of smoke. When the smoke cleared, there was a log where Asuma had just been. Asuma landed a few feet away, and stopped a punch from Ino. Ino tried to hit him with her other fist, only for that one to be stopped, as well. Asuma didn't expect what she did next, as she performed a backflip, and kicked him in the chin, snapping his head back, and freeing herself in the process. As Asuma staggered backwards, Ino rushed in, and tried to kick Asuma only for her leg to be grabbed, and she was thrown into Kiba. As the two collided with each other, they burst into smoke, shocking Asuma. So where are the real Kiba and Ino? Asuma asked, turning to Naruto. Right behind you actually. Naruto replied with a smirk. Come on now, do you really think I would fall for that? Asuma asked. Just then, Asuma heard a shout behind him. Fang over fang. Asuma just barely managed to avoid the spinning duo of Kiba and Akamaru. As he landed back on the ground, he saw Naruto out of the corner of his eye going through hand signs. Wood style. Wood spikes. This caused Asuma to once again start moving to avoid each spike that rose from the ground and trees. As he continued to dodge each spike, he was unaware of Ino appearing above him. Naruto saw her closing in on their sensei, and stopped his attack, confusing Asuma. Lightning style. Lightning palm. As Ino yelled at her, Asuma turned to face her, and was met with a few quick strikes by her lightning-covered hand. Asuma jumped away, and rubbed the wounded spots where he had been hit. Almost feels like getting hit by a Hyuga. It's based on the Hyuga gentle fist, but since I can't see it, I focus on the body's pressure points instead. Plus with my lightning affinity, and the snake style that Anko taught me, it makes for a really effective attack. Explained Ino with a smile. You 3 are a lot better than I originally thought. But let's see how you handle this. Fire style. Ash pile burning. Asuma yelled, as a large cloud of gunpowder was released from his mouth. He then clicked together a piece of flint in his mouth, causing the powder to ignite, and head straight for his team. Earth style. Earth wall. Naruto shouted, acting quickly, blocking the. After the explosion stopped, Naruto released him, and found the area still covered in smoke and dust. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Naruto said, as he launched a wave of wind into the smoke cloud, blowing it away. Right, as the smoke cleared, Kiba and Akamaru ran towards Asuma, and started spinning once again. Asuma tried to dodge it in time, but was hit in the leg. As he landed, he stumbled from the cut in his leg. Wood style. 4-pillar prison. Naruto said Asuma was surrounded by a prison of wood. We beat sensei. Kiba started with a tone of victory. How so? I still have the scroll. Asuma replied. Ino walked up beside her 2 teammates, and ran through a quick set of hand signs. Mind transfer jutsu. She said before her body went limp, and was caught by Naruto. Asuma then started looking through his pockets before pulling out a scroll, and tossing it to Kiba. A few seconds later Ino was back in her own body, and the trio stood smiling at that sensei. Congratulations to you 3, you pass. Meet tomorrow morning at 8 at the tower for your first mission. Asuma said with a smile on his face. Naruto undid his, and the 4 ninja left the forest. Asuma was looking forward to seeing what his new team could do, and the 3 genin were eager to start their career as a ninja. It had been a month since Team 10 started their missions. That is, if you could even call them that, they were nothing more than daily chores. Thanks to Naruto and his clones, Team 10 was able to complete close to 100 D-rank missions, and still have plenty of time for training. Naruto was currently sitting on top of his and Anko's house reading over a few scrolls he had gotten from Hiruzen that were from his parents. When Naruto wasn't spending all his time doing missions and training, he was reading over scrolls left by his parents. He hadn't even had time to look at the Uzumaki estate that was left to him. His mother had left him information on where the Uzumaki clan came from, and just how much Naruto was actually going to inherit. His father had left him scrolls on two of his most powerful, the and the. He also received a scroll from both his parents. As soon as Naruto read over the scroll, he hoped to be able to master and remove the seal that Anko had from the snake theme. The last scroll he had to look over was the summoning scroll he had gotten from the scroll of seals. He opened and began looking over it when he felt a chakra signature join him on the roof. "Morning, Naruto-kun. What are you doing?" Ino asked as she sat down next to her fellow blonde. "Just looking over some of these scrolls before we meet Asuma-sensei for our next mission," replied Naruto while trying to figure out which summoning contract his family had. "It is the Fox Summoning Contract Kit. I created it myself after befriending my first container Mito Uzumaki. When you open the scroll, you will need to sign your name in blood with your handprint beside it. That is if you would like to have the Fox clan as a summoning contract," Kurama explained. Naruto just nodded before doing, as Kurama explained while also explaining what was going on to Ino. "Alright Naruto, just make the hand signs on the scroll, then slam your hand on the ground. Just like your Nichan does for her snakes." Naruto ran through the hand signs and slammed his hand down. "Summoning jutsu," Naruto yelled. There was a small puff of smoke, and when the smoke cleared, there was a small brown fox with 5 tails sitting there. The fox took a minute to look around before his gaze landed on the 2 blondes in front of him. "Hello, I am Uzumaki. I am the advisor to Ari, Queen of the Foxes. May I ask who you are?" asked Uzumaki. "I am Naruto Uzumaki, and this is Ino Yamanaka. Nice to meet you," Naruto replied, as Ino just waved. "I don't mean to be rude, but Uzumakas have red hair. How do I know you are telling the truth?" asked the small fox. "Kid, make a shadow clone. I'll take over the clone so I can talk with Uzumaki," Kurama said from within Naruto's mind. A few seconds later there was a shadow clone among the group, the only difference was the red eyes. "Hello Uzumaki. This kid before you is indeed an Uzumaki. I'm sure you remember his mother, Kushina Uzumaki, don't you?" Naruto here got all his looks from Kushina's husband, explained the clone in a deep demonic voice. Uzumaki's eyes went wide hearing that demonic voice. "Lord Kurama, is it you?" "Yes Uzumaki, it is me," replied Kurama. "We had no idea you were resealed, my lord. Queen Ari thought you had been beaten enough, and you hadn't reformed yet. She has been looking non-stop trying to find any sign of where you may reform at," explained Uzumaki. "Does the clan have such little faith in me?" asked Kurama. "I didn't mean it like that, my lord. It's just that we have had no idea what happened to you 12 years ago," Uzumaki quickly explained while bowing to the Naruto clone. "I'm not being rude, but who is this Ari you keep talking about, Kurama?" Naruto asked. "She is an 8-tailed vixen, and the strongest fox of our clan after myself. She is also my mate and my queen," Kurama explained before turning back to the small fox. "Tell your queen that once Naruto learns the summoning a little better, we will summon her as she would like. Also let her know that the foxes have a new summoner." The small fox bowed and left in a puff of smoke. "We should get going, as well, Naruto-kun. We need to meet Asuma-sensei to get our next mission," Ino said. The clone Kurama had control off disappeared in a puff of smoke, and Naruto and Ino began their way to meet with Asuma and Kiba. "Have you looked at your estate yet?" Ino asked to break the silence. "No, with all the training and missions I haven't had time. I haven't even had time to ask Ni-chan if she would like to move in with me, since I'm sure the place will have plenty of room," Naruto replied. "Well, when are you gonna go look at it?" "If I have time I am going to try and look at it after our next mission is over," Naruto said, as he and Ino arrived at the tower. They made their way up the stairs to the mission room, and saw Kiba and Asuma waiting on them. Team 10 stepped in just in time to hear the last Uchiha demand to be given something other than a D-rank mission. And of course Sakura had to squeal in agreement with her Sasuke-kun. The only one who wasn't making a scene was Choji, who stood there happily enjoying his bag of potato chips. Sasuke and Sakura both were silenced once they felt the Hokage's killer intent flooded the room. After a few minutes of listening to the Uchiha being put in his face, Naruto had an idea to anger Sasuke even more. Naruto stepped forward and bowed before Hiruzen. "Hokage-sama, permission to speak?" Naruto asked. "Go ahead Naruto-kun. I have a deal for you. Allow teams 10 and 7 to take a cooperative mission of a ranking higher than D rank, and I will tell you how to defeat that unbeatable enemy you call paperwork," Naruto said with a slight smirk, knowing that they would agree. "Deal. Now what is the secret?" demanded Hiruzen. Sasuke and Sakura both were pissed at how easily Naruto had gotten them to agree. "Our first mission is Hokage-sama," Asuma stated. "Fine. Teams 10 and 7 are to escort a bridge builder by the name of Tazuna back to the Land of Waves. Protect him from anything or anyone that may try to harm him till the completion of his bridge. Hiruzen explained, as a tall drunk man walked into the room. These brats are supposed to be my protection. They look like they can't do anything, especially the two girls. Tazuna slurred out. Naruto had to grab a hold of Ino to keep her from attacking the bridge builder. Let me go to Naruto. I'm gonna show this old fart just what I can do when I shove this kunai up his ass, screamed Ino. Now, Ino-chan, you can't kill the client. If you want to hurt him, you will have to wait till the mission is over. Naruto replied, and that seemed to calm him a little. Now Naruto, I believe you know the secret I have been looking for? Asked. I thought that the god of shinobi would have figured out such a simple solution. Just use shadow clones Jiji. They do the work, and you get the memories. Naruto laughed out loud. He was shocked that he hadn't thought about that before. He just let his head fall to the table in front of him, as everyone except for Sasuke and Sakura laughed at his reaction. Alright, teams meet at the gate in an hour, and pack for a month-long trip. Asuma said with Kakashi nodding in agreement, as both disappeared in a shunshin. After everyone left the mission room, Naruto and Ino were walking together back to Ino's place so she could pack and tell her parents. After a few minutes of walking, they made it to the Yamanaka flower shop and went into the main house area in the back of the store. Mom, Dad, I'm back. Ino called out as she and Naruto stepped into the living room. Morning Nariko-san. Naruto said with a bow. Naruto stops bowing and formalities. I've told you it's either Nariko or Mom. You know I see you like a son. Nariko replied as she gave Ino and Naruto a hug. Ever since Naruto had saved her little girl from the boys that were bullying her, Naruto and Ino had begun to hang out more and get closer. The more he came around the Yamanakas, the more Nariko claimed him as a son and secretly hoped that one day he would be, well, a son-in-law at least. Sorry Mom. We just stopped by so Ino could pack and let you know we have a mission. Naruto replied. How long will this mission take? Asked Nariko. Not sure Mom. Asuma-sensei said we need to pack for a month at least. We're heading to the land of waves to protect a bridge builder until he finishes his current project. Ino explained as she came back downstairs from her room with her storage scroll on her side. Well, your father is on a mission right now, so I will let him know when he returns. You two be careful and look out for each other. Nariko said as she gave them both a hug before they left. The blonde duo then headed towards Anko's house so Naruto could pack as well. They made it to Anko's place and found Anko sitting at the kitchen table eating dango. Hey Ni-chan, got a mission to the land of waves. Told to pack for a month, not really sure how long we'll be gone. Naruto said as he ran up the stairs. Ino looked over and sat down across from Anko. Morning Ni-chan. Ino greeted me. Morning Ino-chan. So, I finally got a mission outside the village huh? Anko asked as she and Ino made small talk waiting on Naruto. After a few minutes, Naruto returned with his own storage scroll and was ready to go. Before heading for the door, Naruto stopped and looked back at Anko. Ni-chan, can I ask you a question? Naruto asked. What is it? Anko replied. I was going to go and look at my family's compound when I got back. I'm sure it will be a decent sized place, and I was wondering if you would care to move there with me Ni-chan. Naruto asked. Anko thought about it for a few minutes before deciding on an answer. I'll give you my answer after we see what the compound looks like. Naruto nodded before giving Anko a hug and rushing out the door with Ino in tow. When they arrived at the gate, Sasuke, Kiba and Akamaru were already there. After another 10 minutes of waiting, the rest of their teammates and Sensei along with Tazuna arrived. The group then set out for Wave Country. It had been a peaceful 4 hours so far. They had been making good progress with no problems at all. As the group continued walking, Asuma and his team and Kakashi noticed a puddle on the side of the road. Now this would have been normal except for one thing, it hadn't rained in about 2 weeks. Giving slight nods to each other, they continued to walk along and pretended to not notice the puddle. As they passed the puddle, 2 cloaked figures rose out of the puddle, and a chain of shuriken surrounded the 2 sensei before slicing them into pieces. Team 7 began to panic a little, as they took up a defensive formation around Tazuna. The demon brothers, missing Nin from Kurigakure. Naruto said, as he remembered hearing of them from Anko. Naruto then began to go through hand signs, as the demon brother rushed Naruto. Earth style. Earth spikes. Naruto said, as spikes began to rise from the earth, causing the demon brothers to jump backwards, dodging the attacks. Ino appeared in the air above the missing Nins, finishing up her own set of hand signs. Lightning style. 1,000 needles of paralysis. Ino shouted, as lightning shot from her hands, as it took on the form of needles, and headed for the demon brothers. The needles hit their mark, causing the brothers to begin to spasm, as they headed for the ground. One more shot was heard, as the demon brothers neared the ground. Fang over fang. Kiba and Akamaru came flying towards the falling duo, as they began spinning at a ferocious speed, hitting the 2 missing Nins in the chest, sending them flying into a tree, and knocking them out. Naruto and Kiba tied the duo up before Naruto turned to a nearby tree. You can come out now guys. A few seconds later, Asuma and Kakashi appeared with a smile on Asuma's face. Good job you three. Very well done with the teamwork. Asuma complimented. Kakashi and Asuma took Tezuno off to the side for a small talk. After the conversation between the three, and everyone voting to continue the mission, the group took off once again. They walked for a few more hours at a quicker pace, wanting to reach Tezuno's place as soon as possible. As they continued walking, the fog around them got a bit thicker. Naruto noticed movement in the bushes and threw kunai into the bush. Walking over to the bush, I found a dead rabbit. He ignored Sakura screeching about scaring them as he looked over the rabbit. Kid, that rabbit is a snow rabbit. Its fur should have changed, meaning it has been kept inside. Kurama stopped as he heard a noise coming at them. Kid down now, yelled the fox. Everyone down. Naruto yelled as he grabbed Ino and pulled her down with him as a large sword flew over their heads and embedded itself in a tree. As the genin and their sensei got back up, they saw someone standing on the sword handle along with someone else standing near the base of the tree. Asuma and Kakashi's eyes widened on seeing the two people. Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the hidden mist. Kakashi started. And Ichigo Kurosaki, the soul reaper of the hidden mist. Asuma finished. The copy ninja Kakashi Haddock and Asuma Saratobi, one of the 12 guardian ninja. This should be fun. Zabuza laughed with Ichigo joining in. Kakashi and Asuma were facing off with the 2 levels missing nin, as the 6th genin took up a guard position around Tezuno. The 2 sensei were holding their own against the missing nin duo and seemed to be pushing for the victory. That was until Zabuza used his hidden mist and covered the area in a thick mist, giving them the advantage. As the genin tried to see through the mist, sounds of battle were heard before the mist disappeared, revealing Asuma and Kakashi trapped in 2 water spheres with Zabuza holding his hands in each sphere. Both teams of genin looked on in surprise. Now to play with you little genin, Ichigo said, as 2 clones of Zabuza formed from water beside him. You won't beat us so easily. Sasuke started with a smirk. As much as I hate to agree with the theme, he's right. Naruto added in. Well, why don't we see about that? Jutsuga Tensho. Ichigo yelled as he swung his sword in a wide arc, sending out a slash of chakra flying at the genin. Earth style. Earth wall. Naruto said, as a wall rose up and stopped the attack, causing dust and dirt to fly up. In the middle of the dust cloud, no one noticed Naruto making 2 clones who quickly disappeared into the forest. Sasuke then jumped into the air as the dirt began to settle and launched a barrage of kunai and shuriken, aiming for the real Zabuza. Ichigo jumped and stopped the weapons with the flat of his sword as a bunshin kicked Sasuke back on the ground. Zabuza is a level ninja, and I'm sure Ichigo isn't too far off. You can't take them out on your own. Kiba said, as Sasuke stood back up. I am an Uchiha, an elite. I can do anything. He screamed as he ran through hand signs. Fire style. Fireball. A large fireball flew from Sasuke's mouth and headed for Ichigo. Naruto just sighed as he ran through his own hand signs. Wind style. Gale palm. Naruto clapped his hands together as a large blast of wind combined with the fireball increased its size. Water style. Water wall. The 2 water clones yelled as they jumped in front of Ichigo, spewing water from their mouths. As the fireball met the water wall, the 2 attacks caused a thick layer of steam to rise and cover the field. My clones are almost in place, just another minute or 2. Naruto whispered to Kiba and Ino. His teammates nodded as Ino ran through her own set of hand signs. Lightning style. Lightning current. Ino slammed her hands to the ground as lightning shot out of her hands, using the water on the ground to move towards Ichigo and the water clones. The clones jumped to the side, and Ichigo jumped back near Zabuza as Ino smirked. The attack then split in 2 different currents and followed after the clones, keeping them dodging the attack. Fang over fang, Kiba yelled as he and Akamaru came spinning in and ripping through one of the clones as Sasuke appeared behind the other with a kunai in his neck. Zabuza and Ichigo shared a look before Zabuza made another water clone and switched with it. The clones were only a tenth of my power. Let's see how well you do against all of it, Zabuza said as he and Ichigo stepped forward. Any last words? Ichigo asked. Yeah, I have to. Bunshin. Naruto said with a smirk. Zabuza and Ichigo began looking for the clones before they heard an explosion behind them. They turned to see a cloud of smoke where the water clone was holding their prisoners. Out of the smoke, Kakashi and Asuma dashed, Kakashi out with his hand covered in a blue crackling chakra, and Asuma with trench knives covered in a blue chakra. They rushed the 2 missing nin. Right before they made contact, the Zabuza and Ichigo fell to the ground within their necks. Thank you for weakening these 2 for me. I have been following them for a few weeks now. I will take them and dispose of them. A figure appeared beside the 2 downed bodies and disappeared just as quickly with them. Who was that? Sakura asked. Judging by the mask, it was a Kiri hunter nin. Their job is to track down missing nin from their countries and eliminate them. Kakashi explained before him, and Asuma fell face first to the ground. Sensei, you alright? Naruto asked. We're fine, Naruto. Just tired and worn out, Asuma replied. Naruto nodded and made 2 shadow clones to carry the 2 sensei. How much further, old man? Asked Naruto. About 5 more miles that way, Tazuna said, pointing down the road. Naruto nodded before making a few hand signs and slamming his hands on the ground. Summoning jutsu. In a puff of smoke, 2 foxes appeared. One was a pure white color, and the other was a deep black. I am Shiro, and this is Ibiki, explained the white wolf in a feminine voice. I am Naruto Uzumaki. I need you 2 to scout out down that road for the next 5 miles. Stay out of sight, and return if you notice anything strange, Naruto explained. Understood, replied Hibiki in a deep masculine voice. Since when do you have a summoning contract, Naruto? Asked Chaoji. Just recently, Naruto replied, not wanting to reveal a whole lot. That doesn't explain much, Sasuke stated. I will explain more when I feel the time is right, Naruto replied before walking off with his team and the 2 shadow clones carrying the sensei. The next couple of days were spent training and guarding Tazuna after Asuma and Kakashi had realized that Zabuza and Ichigo weren't dead. Team 10 was mostly in charge of guarding Tazuna, since Kakashi hadn't really taught his genin a whole lot of anything. The 2 teams were currently having dinner with Tazuna and his daughter and grandson. The evening was going peacefully so far, but Inari voiced what was on his mind the last few days. Why do you guys bother to try so hard? No matter how hard you train, you're still no match for Gato's men. No matter what glorious claims you make or how hard you work, the weak will only end up getting killed. Inari spoke from his place at the table. We ain't weak kids, and we aren't going to be killed by Gato either. This place needs a hero, and we Konoha ninja are just the ones to fill the role, Naruto replied with a smile. This village had a hero once, my stepfather. Everyone called him a hero, and he promised to always be here, but he was killed and left us all alone. Do you have any idea what it's like to be alone? Inari asked. Ino, Kakashi, Asuma, and Kibble looked over at Naruto to see him with his head down and his hair covering his eyes. Ino started to say something, but was cut off by Naruto. I do know what it is like to be alone. I was alone for the first 5 years of my life. My parents died the same day I was born. I am hated by almost my entire village for something I had no control over, and I have had multiple attempts on my life because of it. The few people who do care were only able to do so much to help me because of our stupid civilian council. When I was 5 was the first time I actually got to have the feeling of a family when my Ni-chan adopted me. Then I made friends starting with Ino-chan and her parents who became like my own, and all my friends from the academy. You may feel alone now, Inari, but you have a mother and a grandfather who care for you. You have to move on, Inari, and quit crying like a baby all the time. Everyone was quiet for a few minutes before Naruto spoke up again. I'm going out to train for a while. And with that said, Naruto left. What did he mean? Asked Tsunami. Just like he said, Naruto is hated by a large part of our village because of something he has absolutely no control over. He was always attacked until he was adopted by his older sister, and even then there were still a few attacks on him. People are blinded by hate and can't see the boy for who he is, Asuma explained. I'm going to go check on Whiskers, Ino said, as she ran out after Naruto. Ino searched for Naruto for about half an hour before she found him fighting against a horde of clones. She watched for a few minutes as he fought through the clones blowing off steam. You okay, Whiskers? Ino asked, as Naruto finished off the last clone. Yeah, I'm fine. I shouldn't have let him get to me like that, Naruto replied. Want to spar? I might be a bit more of a challenge than your clones are, Ino asked. Sure. The two spent the next couple hours just lightly sparring. By the time they finished, they both were exhausted and sat down against a tree. Ino leaned over on Naruto's shoulder, and soon both blinds were out. Mindscape. Naruto woke to find himself in the sewer that was his mind. He walked down the hallway and into the room that held the. Naruto walked forward and sat down in front of the cage as Kurama came out of the darkness. Hey there, Kurama, I'm guessing you pulled me in here, Naruto asked. I did. I told you I would help you to get stronger, and that starts now. I thought we could start working on something that made your father as feared as he was. However, it will require quite a bit of chakra control, Kurama explained. Naruto got up and walked toward the seal and ripped a small piece from one of the corners. What was that for the kid? I read in a scroll that my mom left for me that with a small piece of the seal removed, you will be able to manifest yourself into a small form outside my body, Naruto replied. Why are you doing this, kid? Not that I'm not grateful, just curious. If you are gonna help me to get stronger, then I want to return the favor. It's gotta suck being stuck in this cage all the time, Naruto chuckled. Thanks, kid. Now let's get started with your training. Next morning. Naruto woke up the next morning after a night of training in his mind with Kurama. When he opened his eyes, he saw Ino staring at him. What is Ino? There's a fox on your head, Naruto, Ino said while pointing at the small red-orange furred fox. It's just me, Kurama said, making Ino's eyes whiten. Naruto was about to say something, but was interrupted by Ino. He's so kawaii. Ino yelled as she grabbed the fox. I am Kyuubi no Kitsune, strongest of the 9. I am not kawaii, shouted Kurama. We all have our weaknesses, a cute vixen just happens to be one of mine. Someone's coming, and they have the same smell as that hunter nin that saved Zabuza and Ichigo, Kurama said, putting Naruto and Ino on alert as he went back into the sea. Naruto and Ino sat there waiting for the person to reveal themselves. A few moments later, and a girl with long black hair wearing a light blue kimono. The girl's eyes widened in shock, but quickly tried to hide the shock of seeing the 2 ninja, although with his heightened senses, Naruto saw this small action. Hello, I didn't think anyone would be out this far, the girl said. We were just out training last night and fell asleep out here. What's your name, miss? Asked Ino. My name is Haku, and I am a boy. Ino's eyes widened since she thought the boy was actually a girl. Naruto just chuckled a little. What's so funny? Asked Haku. Deception is a ninja's greatest skill, isn't it, Haku? I have greater senses than most people. I know you're a girl by the way you smell, Naruto said. Don't worry, we won't tell anyone. What are you doing out here anyway? I am collecting herbs for my father. He was hurt in an accident a few days ago, explained Haku. Naruto and Ino looked at each other and gave a slight nod. How are Zabuza and Ichigo? Ino asked, causing Haku's eyes to go wide in shock as she pulled a few from her basket. How did you know? Haku asked. Like I said, I have better senses. Your smell is the same as the hunter ninja that took Zabuza and Ichigo. I want you to take me to see them, Haku, Naruto said. I can't do that. I can't risk you attacking them, Haku replied. I don't want to attack them, I just want to talk. I give you my word, Haku, and I will never go back on my word, Naruto said with a smile. Very well, but the girl comes too. I can't have her bringing anyone else to her hideout. If I even think you are gonna attack my father and brother, I will not hesitate to kill you, Haku said in a serious tone. Naruto, are you sure about this? Ino asked. Naruto just nodded as they began to follow Haku. Naruto and Ino followed Haku for close to an hour until they came to a small hideout in the forest. Haku led the 2 blondes in the small house. As soon as Ichigo saw them, he grabbed his sword and stood in front of Zabuza, who was lying on a bed. What the hell, Haku? Why did you bring them here? Ichigo asked. He just wants to talk to Ichigo. If they try anything, the 2 of us are more than capable of stopping 2 genin, Haku replied. How about you let me have the girl, then we can talk, Ichigo said while looking at Ino. Naruto stepped in front of Ino with the kunai raised. You touch her, and you're dead, Naruto growled out. That's enough, Ichigo. What is it you want? Zabuza asked from his place on the bed. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and this is Ino Yamanaka. I want to offer you 3 a chance to stay in one place without having to worry about being hunted anymore. You know Gato is only going to keep you around while you're of use to him. How do you know he won't kill you once you kill the bridge builder? Naruto asked. He won't be able to kill me. He will be dead before he can get near me if he even tries, Zabuza replied with a smirk. Zabuza, think about those 2, Naruto said, pointing towards Ichigo and Haku. Come back to Konoha with us, and you won't need to run anymore. Zabuza looked at the 2 he considered his own kids. Maybe settling down without worry would be a nice touch for the 3. Are you sure we will be welcome back to your village? I will send a message to them, and let them know that you 3 will be coming back with us. I am sure you 3 can stay in Konoha, Naruto replied, as he summoned Shiro, and had her take a scroll back to explain what was going on. Naruto and Ino spent a bit longer with Zabuza coming up with a plan to take out Gato once and for all. When the 2 blondes returned back to Tazuna's house, they explained to Kakashi and Asuma what was going on. The 2 were shocked to say the least, but knew if anyone could make a friend out of an enemy, it would be Naruto. The day came for Zabuza, Ichigo, and Haku to attack. They acted out their part just as the ninja did theirs. Eventually Gato showed up just like expected with an army of thugs and bandits. Gato then got a shock when the missing nin and Leaf Nin teamed up to take out his army, leaving him to suffer the wrath of the village. After taking their pay from Gato's wealth, they left the rest of the village to help it get back to its former state before the teams plus Zabuza, Ichigo, and Haku headed towards Konoha. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic. Link is in the description. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.